Hello ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, and welcome to a Thursday evening episode of Ted's Booze Cellar at just about 6:15 with me, your most gracious host, Ted. Welcome to the Premier Alcohol Review Show here on YouTube, and sorry there wasn't much of an episode for the last couple of weeks, although I did upload that one with Imogen and Owen. Again, my mental energy was just not there, so the video that I would have made in that time frame, if I had made one, wouldn't have been very entertaining. But we're back today with a drink I've been meaning to review for a little while, since I went on a very nice trip recently with Big Phil, who you will have obviously seen in some of the previous guest episodes. And me and him went to, where did we go first? Oh, we went to Sisbury Ringford first, which was really nice. We had some white chocolate and some non-alcoholic beers. And then we went to Arundel Castle. Now, Arundel Castle, if you're in that neck of the woods in England, I do recommend visiting. It is really, really nice. But in there, they have their own gift shop where they sell produce. I think some of it, might be made on the estate locally. I could be wrong about that, but I will try and remember to put a link to their website in the video description. They've got a really good gift shop at the museum for the castle though, so I do definitely recommend giving that a look in if you ever visit that museum. Also, their cafes are pretty nice. They do a really good cheese scone there. But one of the products I saw in their gift shop was this gin. Now, I'm going to be going on a little tangent of reviewing a few gins in the near future, because I've also got 3 from Aldi that I want to take a look at. But today we're going to be taking a look at this one from Arundel Castle. So this here, this very handsome and stately looking little bottle, is Arundel Gin, which I believe was established, judging by the bottle, in 2021, as it says there. Distilled and bottled in the UK in England. It's an artisan small batch, so it's not like they're mass producing this stuff. So just keep in mind, if you do try some of this stuff and you really like it, bear with them, you know, it's not like they're working from like a massive factory or something like that. Full of Sussex spirit, handcrafted to perfection. 5 centilitres for this little bottle. It's a 40% alcohol one. And this one in particular actually is infused with honey sourced from local beehives. So this is essentially their standard honey gin from their gift shop. And this little bottle was a little bit pricey. It was £7.50 for 5 centilitres or 50 millilitres, which, I'm not going to lie, does sound like quite a fair amount of price for like this amount of alcohol. That being said, I think it could be really top quality, judging by the quality of the label, the niceness and lovely design in general of the bottle and the label, and the fact that it's sort of like locally made in an artisan way. I feel like that maybe kind of somewhat makes the price understandable. That being said, you know, it is quite pricey, so it's like, yeah, definitely I think on the pricier side. But that being said, the design of the label and the bottle does justify that a little bit, because it looks very handsome. Some nice creamy honeyish colours give me a really nice vibe of like a proper ethically sourced and ethically run beehive farm. So yeah, I don't know, it's just got that sort of rich, warm, foresty kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's really nice. Really like the design and the contrast of the different shades of like gold and cream and honey. Yeah, no, very nice. And it's got a little sort of imprinted looking image of a bee there, and that is very, very handsome indeed. So, do you know what? I'll give the design of the label and the bottle I'll give it 9 out of 10. The cap is plastic, but it looks very, very handsome. So yeah, 9 out of 10 I think for this. It does look good, but again, I mean, I guess it's pretty tricky with these really small bottles that, you know, based on how tricky it is to get a metal cap. I think actually it is metal, but it's like really thin, poor quality metal by the looks of it. But again, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. That being said, I think a 9 out of 10 is still obviously pretty good. It kind of goes without saying. Okay, got an interesting colour to it. It is a little bit honeyish in terms of the colour of the liquid, so we'll give it a quick snifter to see what our first impressions are like. Oh yeah, it does strongly smell of honey. Good nose. Not much room for it to breathe though, so a solid and respectable 7 out of 10 for the nose in the bottle. It smells nice, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just not much room to breathe really, so I can't say much more than it is nice and it has a good, rich, deep, honeyish flavour that isn't too strong. But anyway, we'll try a little bit of it on its own, I think, first, and then we'll try some of it with the Schweppes tonic water. But first, I thought I would read this quick blurb here. So it says, Our award-winning London Dry recipe is infused with raw honey from local Sussex hives to produce a citrus-packed gin with a delicately sweet twist. So smooth you can enjoy it neat over ice or top up with a classic Indian tonic for a refreshing and satisfying G&T in Sussex sunshine. Well, it's about 6:20 now in the midst of November, so yeah, probably not going to get any sunshine at this time of day, but we can hope and wish for the future. So we'll have ourselves a quick palate cleanser of water first before we taste what this is like. And then I'll try it first on its own in this little cap, just like a little thimbleful, to see what the taste is like in terms of, you know, having it on its own, because I want to have it on its own and then with the tonic water. So little smidgen in the cap there. Then let's give it a snifter because it's probably got a bit more room to breathe here. The honey smell is more prominent. It's got this florally after smell there that's really capping off the honey quite nicely, although it is a bit it's quite strong and overpowering actually, that sort of flowery smell. So I don't know, it's a nice nose, but I think just because it's a bit imbalanced and quite sort of strong and full on, I'll probably give the nose outside of the bottle 6.75 out of 10, I think. I think that's fair, yeah. But anyway, bottoms up, and let's see what this sucker really tastes like. So, to everyone watching at home, hope you have a good weekend ahead. Cheers. Woo! Wow, that's a vibrant flavour. Very honeyish throughout. The honey flavour actually stays pretty consistent throughout. It's not super overpowering against the other flavours. It's pretty consistent in terms of how you experience it and how it comes across. It's like a thin, syrupy kind of honeyness. Really clear, yeah, as well. Like, it doesn't muddle up the other flavours too much. There's this florally undertone and this, like, quite powerful kind of like vanilla-y, almost slightly chocolatey aftertaste actually, that's probably more of like a honey flower kind of taste. But yeah, no, honestly, it's really, really good. I think it is a little bit overpowered or imbalanced towards the floral flavours in the aftertaste. So I was thinking maybe knocking off a point or two for that. Plus the honey flavour does get overpowered a little bit towards the end because of that. The texture is smooth though, so it does taste nice in the regard that it's got like a smooth texture to complement the smooth honeyish taste throughout. So that kind of offsets the flavour being a bit imbalanced towards the end when you swallow it down. So I'll give it a... I'm feeling like a 7.5 to be honest, that's what I'm feeling. But before we finish up this video, I'm going to have it with some tonic water here. So I've got a glass here with a wedge of lime in it. I'm not going to go for ice because I don't want to dilute the flavour of this drink too much. There you go. Nice honeyish hue. Very handsome looking drink, so that's for damn sure. And like I've said before, I know that the tonic water didn't mix great with Imogen Noen's Suchaman elderflower liqueur, but this is pretty solidly reliable tonic water if you want to make a G&T. Anyway, pour it in there. Let's not use up all of it, probably about like 100 millilitres because this is a 150 millilitre can. So there you go, nice little G&T, very nice. Yeah, the smell of the tonic water kind of offsets the more overpowering smells in the nose, so yeah, that's quite nice. Probably like a... That's probably the nicest smelling version of the nose. I'll give that a... probably like an 8.5 out of 10. There's still like a bit of residual harshness I'm not entirely sure about, but it does smell nice, yeah. Decent smell. But anyway, another quick palate cleanser of water. And then on to the other most important part of the video, which is to see what this sucker tastes like, and as always, drink responsibly. Okay, let's go. Yeah, so that's probably about like 45 millilitres of gin to like about 100 millilitres or 110 millilitres of tonic water. Feels like a good balance, yeah. Hmm. Mm. Yeah, the honey flavour is kind of sort of like offset a bit by the tonic water, but while that is a little bit of a shame in that the honey flavour isn't quite as prominent because it is really, really nice, the good thing about adding tonic water to this is that it kind of breaks up the flavour and evenly spreads it out throughout the experience of sipping down a sip of this. What it kind of helps do a little bit is it kind of helps break up the flavour, particularly towards the end. And with that, it kind of makes the floral flavours I mentioned that were a bit more overpowering towards the end of when you sip this down, kind of makes them a bit more manageable, spreads out the flavour from that a little bit more evenly, and it's not as overpowering on like the honeyish and the sort of ginny kind of other aspects of the gin kind of taste. I know it's a good drink to have in a G&T, but I'm also wondering, considering how the Saint-Germain elderflower liqueur reacted to being mixed with lemonade, and considering that was also quite a viscous, quite thick, but also quite smooth and serene kind of drink, I'm wondering if maybe lemonade would have mixed quite well with this as well, because that might have actually worked better than tonic water in this case. And I usually don't like mixing lemonade with gin, so yeah. It is good though. It is really good as a G&T, and even on its own as a neat gin, it is very nice. I don't usually like neat gin though. Not generally, no. But as a G&T, it is nice. Mm. Yeah, it's good. It's just, again, a little bit of an imbalance in the flavour towards the end. It's a bit more florally than honeyish. That kind of gets drowned out at the end if you add in tonic water a little bit. But generally speaking, this is still a really good G&T. So, yeah, I'd say it's right on the higher end. I'd say at this point I'm kind of just nitpicking. So I'm going to probably give it a... Don't know why my head is coming down on this number, but I'm going to go for an 8.655. Don't know why, but I just feel like that's the number that my brain really is clinging to, so I'm going to go with that. It is a really good G&T. It's very comprehensively and compulsively enjoyable and drinkable. It would mix really well with lemonade, I think. As it is, it mixes really well with... Which tonic water did I get? Yeah, Slimline tonic water. It mixes well with that as well. I just think... Oh, I don't know, there's something missing from it. I think it would work probably best though with lemonade. If you mix this with lemonade, I tell you what, it would be pushing on for like a 9, probably even a 9.25. As it is, I think I have to go with an 8.655, just purely because that's the number that my head keeps resting on for some reason. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. This is a good G&T. There's just a few little pits and bits that I would pick at. But again, I'm a little bit of an, nitpicker with certain things like this anyway, so maybe that's just on me. But I did really enjoy this, and please, Arundel Castle, do make more stuff like this. I did see that they have a few other gins that I want to try out next time I go there to their gift shop, so I'm going to give that a look. But if you guys liked this video, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, let me know in the comments section down below, whether that's for a drink or a video format. And if you want to check out my social medias, I'll leave the links to all that in the video description as well. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, share and subscribe. And until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, drink responsibly, know your limits, and I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Bye-bye for now.